This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin FREAKIN.
Oh shit, my camera's released them all up there. It's because I switched things up. I didn't check to see that it was right on this screen. It's going to be correct when I flip it over to the other screen. I switched back to the other camera. If you remember correctly, we were having problems with my new 4K camera that I bought. So I am returning that camera. I've switched back to my old one. But now I'm itty bitty. I take longer than Trump. I don't know what you're talking about. There's a countdown, sir. You can see when I'm going to be on the screen. Unlike Trump, who had a countdown yesterday and then took another fucking hour before he walked out on stage. Welcome to the Troll Patrol live. It's a freaking Monday. I hope everybody had a great freaking weekend. We got a jam-packed show for you tonight. Let me flip it over to where, see, my camera is actually the correct size now. I'm not mini muffins anymore. I don't even like muffins. We got a jam-packed show for you tonight. We're gonna be playing Mitch McConnell giving his thoughts on the COVID relief bill. Jen Psaki is gonna respond to Trump's comments from CPAC. We're gonna watch video of a cop shooting a man in Alabama. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to talk about Andrew Cuomo. I am dubbing him creepy fucking Cuomo. He needs to resign immediately. We have video that proves how creepy he is. It involves a hot dog. I promise it's going to make you uncomfortable. Video of a pastor's daughter getting racist. Plus, apparently it was the worst Golden Globes ever, but it might have been worth it to see Sacha Baron Cohen dunk on Rudy Giuliani one more time. Plus, a surgeon had to appear in court via Zoom, and he did it while performing surgery. We got the video coming at you later, but first, we're gonna have to talk about how Trump will be reinstated as president by the end of the week. The Capitol on high alert as QAnon followers push conspiracy theory Trump will be made president in 3 days. Thousands of National Guard troops will remain in Washington over fears QAnon's claim may lead to another attack on the U.S. Capitol after followers spoke of a military investigation into President Joe Biden. The request for 4,900 National Guard troops to continue their deployments in Washington until March 12th was made by the U.S. Capitol Police, according to a Pentagon official. Obviously, 4,900 is a very large number here on the Capitol, he told lawmakers in Congress. What kind of shit are you trying to post in this chat, sir? That you're getting auto-modded by the Nightbot or whatever. The baseless claim is just the latest peddled by the QAnon crowd, who have been spreading conspiracy theories to millions worldwide over the past few years. March 4th has become the latest date, which the QAnon conspiracy storm is swirling around as proponents believe Trump will somehow be reinstalled as president. I would like to hear the details of how they think this is going to be accomplished. QAnon is a wide-ranging belief which covers all manner of outlandish claims. Maybe if you'd be a good boy, you might get your moderation privileges back. QAnon is a wide-ranging belief which covers all manners of outlandish claims. That's sanitized speak for bullshit. But its most central tenet is that Trump has been waging a secret war on a cabal of child-eating satanic pedophiles. It seems their presence is only providing fuel for the QAnon narrative to continue to spread like wildfire across the internet, worming its way into other conspiracy theories. Trump's own Washington, D.C. hotel. Free speech, the concept of free speech for the fucking millionth time, only provides that the government can't arrest you and imprison you for what you say. It has nothing to do with you being here in my domain. But I don't make these decisions. There are moderators. They make the decisions on whose comments get posted. I don't do that kind of thing. My hands are clean. You take it up with the mods. Trump's own Washington, D.C. hotel has reportedly hiked its rates on March 4th. It did the same thing on January 5th and 6th, other key dates for QAnon. Yeah, I did actually take away your admin privileges. That's correct. I did do that. Other than that, I just I mod people and I let them use their discretion. I felt like you proved you did not possess the discretion needed to be a mod. As there were multiple times I felt you needed to be modded. They absolutely tried to interpret the words and actions of President Trump very carefully. Yes, he was demoted. QAnon has been previously labeled a domestic terror threat by the FBI over its tendency to inspire violence. The latest bizarre connecting of the dots pushes that Trump will be inaugurated on March 4th and will be installed as the 19th president. Okay, this is going back to the... If you don't know this, I can't even explain. I would need producer Dave or the media winch in here to explain exactly what this theory is, that we've only had 18 presidents. Rolling back to the Union to its form it had in 1871. It's insane. Oh my God.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Yes, every single fucking one of you. Absolute morons. Your guess is as good as mine. You can get on Reddit right now and claim that you're Q, and you can say pretty much anything, and they'll take it and run with it. Despite all their predictions failing to materialize and Biden being inaugurated as the president, many Q believers have continued to insist that Trump is still pulling the strings behind the scenes. Closely tied to falsehoods about the election being stolen, pushed by Trump and his most hardcore allies, the conspiracy theorists are claiming a Myanmar-esque coup is about to happen in the U.S. See, they did have a video of a Q supporter here from, I believe this was on CNN. Let's see what they got to say. I'm sure it's going to be interesting.
What's going to happen at some point is there'll be arrests, and that'll include a lot of the line media, and then there'll be military tribunals.
Hasn't that been, they keep saying that for years, and it's not happening.
It hasn't been years. It hasn't been years.
It's been since 2017. It's been years now.
We're taking it. This is a 6,000-year-old death cult.
Right.
You can't take it down that quick.
I understand you're a very passionate Trump supporter, right? But
yes.
you surely can admit that the people who stormed the Capitol were Trump supporters.
No, I definitely cannot.
No! She definitely cannot admit it because she suffers from cognitive dissonance. I went back and forth on whether to play a little montage of Trump's comments from yesterday, but we watched them on the stream. We don't need to do that. Here's Greg Gutfeld from Fox News.
Biden have the most disastrous first month of any
talking about Trump taking aim at the Biden administration.
Joe Biden has had the most disastrous first month of any president in modern history.
It's far more dangerous than the alien encounter people. The alien encounter people are kind of fun, harmless.
We knew that the Biden administration was going to be bad, but none of us even imagined just how bad they would be and how far left they would go. He never talked.
Gas prices have went up 40 fucking cents on average.
Never talk about this.
We didn't imagine it would be that bad.
So if a Republican president makes a triumphant return to the White House, I wonder who that will be.
A Republican president will make a triumphant return to the White House, and I wonder who that will be.
So it was just like old.
Greg just said that. What the fuck?
For all of us, while you no longer have his mean tweets keeping CNN anchors up at night, you also have unsecured borders, fewer jobs, a dead pipeline, rising gas prices, a return to a disastrous climate agreement, and rising crime that gets a pass from the cowards of cancel culture. And the only good thing Joe has, the vaccines, came from you-know-who.
Never let
Yes, Trump himself was in a lab concocting the
They
vaccines.
just followed now. They're following our plan.
I'm not high enough for
And
this
then he
shit.
laid down the most vital challenge. Would Joe, on behalf of the moms and dads and children of America, get the schools open and open them now?
On behalf of the moms, dads, and children of America, I call on Joe Biden to get the schools open and get them open now.
Seriously, Gutfeld is really just repeating
Finally, I wonder
the
what
same
we will
thing
see
Trump
for the
said.
next 4 years.
What was the point of even playing the
next
clips?
4 years, the brave Republicans in this room
They really needed to fill time in this Fox News
the
segment.
effort to oppose the radical Democrats, the fake news media, and their toxic cancel culture. Something new to our ears, cancel culture. And I want you to know that I'm going to continue to fight
Something completely
by
new.
your side. The only division is between a handful of Washington, D.C. establishment political hacks and everybody else all over the country.
But that's not all you're going to see. You will see Trump and perhaps others in the party that will learn from him. Trump showed other Republicans that you got to fight fire with fire. And you know that it worked because suddenly he became an existential threat. That's what happens when you expose the media. Trump offered a clear, succinct difference yesterday. People say he ruined a party. Others say he saved it. It could be both. The Republicans have now become a new party, one for the ignored, the working classes, the opposite of the elites. Time to embrace that as the Dems become no different from its colluders on CNN, those well-dressed dopes controlled by the woke.
No, I think more or less you're going to have to contend with him for another year or so, and then he's going to fade into obscurity. I stand by my prediction. Jail time is probably 50-50, whether he does jail time or not. I mean, like, he deserves it. If there's justice in the world, he does jail time. But whether he actually sees the inside of a jail, 50-50 on that. I do predict he will absolutely be broke as fuck dealing with all his legal problems, and that he will be in no position to run for president, to be invited on TV. But the media is going to milk it for what they can. They're going to get what they can out of the Trump train before it completely runs out of gas or steam or hydrochloroquine, whatever the fuck the Trump train runs on. Here is Jen Psaki, White House press secretary, giving her thoughts on Trump's remarks from CPAC.
Former President Trump over the weekend speaking at CPAC.
I heard that.
He had a quote. He said, President Joe Biden sold out America's children to the teachers union. How does the White House respond to that?
What does that even mean?
I think we're going to spend more of our time focused on communicating about our agenda for the American people than responding to criticism from the former president.
Jen, very much. So yesterday, former President Trump suggested he might run again he will be back in 2024. You said the White House is not paying attention to President Trump, former President Trump, but
No. I think ramen eating Trump is absolutely a reality. That's what happens.
This is one of the reasons foreign allies are still have doubts.
And to be honest, that's probably a far worse punishment for him than going to jail.
President Biden can convince global allies that they can.
But I do not underestimate what is going on in the Southern District of New York. They are investigating him for tax fraud, banking fraud. We've talked about it before. If he does do jail time, that's what he's going to do jail time for. Those investigations are very real and current and ongoing. There are multiple criminal investigations. There are multiple civil actions being taken against Trump. There are criminal investigations against Trump going on in Georgia right now. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that Trump does see the inside of a jail. I'm sure people in France thought it was impossible that Nicolas Sarkozy would see the inside of a jail. I didn't do that story today, but he was convicted, indicted, something. I had it in my list, but I did not select it for tonight. You do have a point with that. He is down with me. Like, this motherfucker has already been eating from the dollar menu for years. He's not a surf and turf kind of guy to begin with. Like, he likes Kentucky Fried Chicken and McDonald's.
U.S. leadership?
Well, the President Biden just decisively beat Donald Trump a few months ago. That's why we're all here, having fun together in here.
Throwing a little shade.
But his focus, and I think one of the ways that he convinces foreign allies and partners that America is back and we want a seat at the table, is by keeping his focus on his commitments he made on the campaign trail, which is building the economy back better, bringing an end to the pandemic.
I wish I had a joke for Big Macs and McDoubles. I don't know the fucking difference because I don't eat at McDonald's enough to know.
On a political campaign, there's plenty of time for that, but his focus is on his objectives of getting the pandemic under control, working with our partners around the world to do that as well.
Taking into consideration.
Wait, isn't a McDouble just a Big Mac without the piece of bread and the special sauce? He's going to be too broke for that extra piece of bread. Now, one of the spotlight positions at CPAC over the weekend went to rising star Madison Cawthorn, who is facing renewed sexual assault allegations. Students from Representative Madison Cawthorn's college said he used fund drives to corner women with sexual advances. This is the newest allegation against him. Former classmates told BuzzFeed that he harassed women at their college. Two RAs said they warned women residing in their dorms not to go on drives with Cawthorn. Cawthorn previously said that he has never done anything sexually inappropriate in my life. Students said that Cawthorn, a 25-year-old Republican from North Carolina, was known for his behavior while at Patrick Henry College, a small Christian school in Virginia that the lawmaker briefly attended in the fall of 2016. Two resident assistants said they would warn women in their dorm not to go for rides with Cawthorn in his white Dodge Challenger. Cawthorn reportedly referred to these rides as fun drives. I got info from other RAs to warn the female student body not to go on joyrides with him because bad things happen on those joyrides. This was according to one of the former RAs. One woman recalled going on a drive with Cawthorn in which he asked invasive questions about the purity ring she was wearing. After 20 minutes of refusing to answer his questions, his demeanor changed and he drove dangerously back to campus. Others told BuzzFeed that Cawthorn was frequently aggressive or misogynistic, and that he called one woman a little blonde slutty American girl in front of a table of peers. He also allegedly asked other men about which race of girls give the best blowjobs. Oh, there is no lettuce on a McDouble. BuzzFeed's investigation comes after other allegations were made before the freshman representative was elected in November of last year. In August of 2020, World Magazine reported that one woman said Cawthorn had forcibly kissed her in 2014. On a drive, Cawthorn asked questions about whether or not she had had sex before pressuring her to sit on his lap. He attempted to kiss her, but she turned away. Cawthorn tried again, holding her face, causing her to struggle to jump out of his lap. During a campaign event in September 2020, Cawthorn denied the report, saying, "I have never done anything sexually inappropriate in my life." However, Cawthorn apparently apologized in a text from February 2020 after a friend mentioned the incident in response to one of his campaign texts. He allegedly said, "I can see in hindsight how that was over the line, and I am sorry." Cawthorn has also come under scrutiny for questionable claims he made about his past, including that he was training for the Paralympic Games, and that the accident that put him in a wheelchair was the reason he could not attend the Naval Academy. That's another thing, is like every time he speaks, he couches everything in this military jargon as if to give off the notion that he was injured serving in the military. I thought he had served in the military and was injured overseas. No, he never actually served. He was injured in a wreck, and that's the reason why he's in a wheelchair. But he even did it when we were watching his speech yesterday on the stream. He got the speaking slot before Trump. That's what they think about this kid. Clearly, he is Republican material, given the allegations against him. Now, the Biden administration, while we were very hard on them last week, they're going to have to give them props for at least something, at least pretending to do something. Biden administration will let migrant families separated under Trump reunite inside U.S. Seems like the bare fucking minimum, but at least a step in the right direction. The Biden administration's task force for uniting migrant families separated by the Trump administration will give separated families the option to be reunited or to be reunified in the U.S. or their countries of origin, according to the Homeland Security Secretary. The separation of thousands of migrant families during the Trump administration was the most powerful and heartbreaking example of the cruelty that preceded this administration. We are hoping to reunite the families either here or in their country of origin. We hope to be in a position to give them the election, and if, in fact, they seek to reunite here in the United States, we will explore lawful pathways for them to remain in the United States and to address family needs. Attorneys representing the families in a federal lawsuit had called on the Biden administration to allow parents who were separated from their children and then deported without them to come back to the U.S. to reunify. They argued that without special protections, parents are forced to choose between bringing their children back to dangerous conditions in their home countries or remaining separated. Heartbreaking, indeed. Other benefits and protections for separated families include transportation, health care, and mental health services, as well as legal, career, and educational services, with no cost passed down to families. A DHS spokesperson said the task force will also consider siblings of separated children for reunification. Really? You'll consider them? Steps in the right direction, at least. At least, since we don't have Republicans in power, they aren't actively, like, torturing children. That we know of. I never put it past a neoliberal. Mitch McConnell speaking on the floor of the Senate today in response to the House-passed COVID-19 relief bill. I made a very smart decision of not streaming that all the way through on Friday night because we would have been here until 2:30 in the morning. That is when the House passed the COVID-19 legislation. It is now in front of the Senate. Apparently, it's going to be about 2 weeks. Democrats are hoping to pass the bill within 2 weeks. That means you may see your $1,400 in time for 420. So $2,000 out the door became $1,400. You can buy a few ounces before 420. Well, they were going as fast as they could. There was still, because we were covering it, the bill was still in committee by the time I came on with my stream on Friday. So just as soon as that bill got out of committee, after they finished marking it up, they were on the floor debating it. So they seriously did work round the clock last week to try to put the bill together. Now, you can criticize them for taking so long, but this was an incredibly complex bill. Because they had to do it, because they couldn't get any Republican support, they had to do it through reconciliation. Because of the filibuster, because Joe Manchin won't get rid of the filibuster. Because they had to do it through reconciliation, they had to throw bones to each different constituency. And they only get one reconciliation per fiscal year. Now they're going to end up with 2 or 3 during this year because of the way the fiscal years fall. The Republicans didn't use their one for last time. And they're going to end up with 2 more. So they're trying to cram as much, and that's another reason why, like, the Republicans attacked them for having a lot of pork, and I'm sure Mitch McConnell blasts Democrats. It's one of the things that he's going to do. Talk about the different pork. The liberal wish list, I'm sure, is going to be something that he says. But they only have one shot at this for now. So they had to cram as much shit into it as they could, dealing with budgetary matters. Because only budgetary matters can go through in reconciliation. I hope I explained that well. You might have heard about the thing with the parliamentarian on Thursday. The parliamentarian in the Senate ruled that a $15 minimum wage increase doesn't affect the budget, so therefore the Democrats wouldn't be able to pass it in reconciliation. Now, Kamala Harris can overrule the parliamentarian. And it appears that she's not going to. And hold on, I believe Smokey is at the door wanting in. Sorry, buddy, you shouldn't have gone out before the show. I have no clue how long he was swiping at the door because of the headphones. I feel sorry for him. Sometimes I'll be sitting here listening to music. I won't hear him wanting to come back in. Anyway, here's Mitch McConnell on the floor of the Senate earlier today.
On another matter, at about 2 o'clock on Saturday morning, House Democrats rammed through the bonanza of partisan spending they're calling a pandemic rescue package. Only Democrats voted.
See what I tell you?
Both Republicans
Mitch, my boy,
voted against it. Last year, under a Republican Senate and a Republican administration, Congress passed 5 historic coronavirus relief bills, 5 of them. Not one of the 5 bills got fewer than 90 votes in the Senate or less than about 80% over in the House. But alas, this time, Democrats have chosen to go a completely partisan route.
Well, it's because Republicans won't give anything.
The editorial board is saying their half-baked plan is poorly targeted to what families need. So we've gone from passing COVID relief with 80%.
Several economists are saying it's not enough.
Majorities last year to the Speaker of the House ramming this through with just 50.7% of the House on Friday night. The bill contains all kinds of liberal spending on pet projects with no relationship whatsoever to pandemic relief. Now remember, we're almost to the one-year anniversary of a leading House Democrat admitting they see this whole crisis as, quote, a tremendous opportunity to restructure things to fit our vision, end quote. So, sorry to all the American families who've just been hoping to get their jobs back, their schools back, and their lives back. Democrats are more interested in some restructuring.
There's still a pandemic going on, Mitch.
Madam President, 1% of this huge package goes directly to vaccinations. 1% for vaccinations. That's why it proposes another 12-digit sum of federal funding for K through 12.
Now, didn't he mention jobs, but like he's going to deride all the
right now, about 95%
spending on infrastructure.
This fiscal year. 95% of the school funding in this bill won't go out this year. And this is an emergency package. That's why they're pushing economic policies that would drag down our recovery.
Yeah, have you seen how long it takes to get legislation
for a one-size-fits-all
passed?
Wage policy that would kill 1.4 million jobs, or continue to pay laid-off workers a premium to stay home that would extend well into a recovery. Which
now they love to bring up that 1.4 million jobs. You might have even heard people say that in comment sections. The report they're citing says increasing the minimum wage to $15 an hour would lift 40 million people out of poverty. The report he is citing said it would lift 40 million people out of poverty. It would result in 1.4 million jobs lost, most of which would be extra jobs that people wouldn't need any longer because they would be earning a livable wage. It says it in the very same report he is citing. Yet he wants to come out here and be like, there's 1.4 million jobs. Fucking Republicans are absolute morons. Now, Mitch McConnell's not a fucking moron. Mitch McConnell is a smart man. He's just a liar and an evil son of a bitch.
job growth and rehiring will be pivotal. Whenever their long-term liberal dreams come into conflict with what Americans actually need right now, Democrats decided their ideology should win out. Well, Madam President, it didn't have to be this way. We could have built more practical policies to help the American people move forward. Some Senate Republicans literally went down to the White House to propose that both sides work together like we did 5 times.
A $600 billion bill.
So this is where we...
That I don't even think had checks for people in it.
A bad bill and a missed opportunity to do right.
So let that sink in. Those 10 Republicans that went down to the White House proposed a $600 billion bill that didn't even have checks for people in it. So they wanted Biden to cave on his campaign promise that he was already caving on for $2,000 checks. Not even send out checks. And they want to act like they tried to compromise with him. I wish Republicans could feel shame. So now this is Dick Durbin talking about overruling the parliamentarian on the minimum wage increase.
I first asked, after the minimum wage was voted out of the bill, a lot of progressives have written...
This is the Senate Majority Whip.
Like the parliamentarian to overrule, but also kind of where do you see the future of minimum wage now? What happens next?
I support an increase in the minimum wage, but it clearly cannot be on this reconciliation bill. If it takes 60 votes or a supermajority of some kind, it's going to be very difficult, obviously.
He is getting a phone call in the middle of an interview.
What do you say to the calls to overrule the parliamentarian from some in the House?
I think that is unlikely, and I would recommend that we look for another venue. I support increasing the minimum wage.
Vice President Harris could do that.
Vote for Attorney General Garland to be after this meeting today.
I'll be a lot smarter in about 45 minutes. We're going to take a vote in committee, and if he does as well as I think he might, I hope that they'll consider expediting his approval on the floor.
And have you had any discussions yet about
Okay, so that was in regards to Merrick Garland. Another leading Democratic senator is coming at it from a different perspective. Senator Elizabeth Warren introduces ultra-millionaire wealth tax bill. Elizabeth Warren, a Democrat from Massachusetts, on Monday introduced a bill in the Senate that would impose a new tax on the assets of America's wealthiest individuals. The plan, which Warren introduced along with Representatives Pramila Jayapal and Brandon Boyle, is a similar proposal that was the centerpiece of Warren's campaign for the presidency in 2020. Warren, a new member of the Senate Finance Committee, has long sought a tax increase on millionaires and billionaires in the U.S. The bill would levy a 2% tax for people with a net worth between $50 million and $1 billion. Taxpayers with assets worth over $1 billion would be subject to a 3% tax increase. Now, this was, I believe Robert Reich tweeted out about this. A 2% tax increase, they wouldn't even feel it. They wouldn't even be any less rich than what they were at the start of the pandemic. And you can increase fucking taxes on every tax bracket down to like the one we're in, and Trump is still safe. The tax would not apply to people whose net worth is below $50 million. The bill's sponsors estimate that it would raise $2.75 trillion in tax revenue over a 10-year period. The ultra-rich and powerful have rigged the rules in their favor so much that the top 0.1% pay a lower effective tax rate than the bottom 99%, and billionaire wealth is 40% higher than before the COVID crisis began, according to a news release from Senator Warren. A wealth tax is popular among voters on both sides for good reason, because they understand the system is rigged to benefit the wealthy and large corporations. The measure is likely to fare better in the democratically controlled House than in the 50-50 Senate, where bills often need to receive 60 votes. Hopefully, after they get past the COVID relief bill, we can talk about nuking the filibuster and not having to have 60 fucking votes for everything. Do the Democrats have a spine? We will see. Because the people reward you if you go out and fight for them. And that is the reason why Bernie Sanders is still the most popular politician in America. Senator Bernie Sanders, an independent from Vermont, one of the most outspoken stimulus proponents in Congress, has a higher net favorability rating than both President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, according to a new poll. Which shouldn't be surprising. If you remember, at this time last year, Bernie Sanders had just won all the first primaries. He's been the most popular politician in America for like 5 years straight. And it's for good reason. He actually fights for the people. It's a shame he got fucked over last year. A poll released Tuesday by The Economist found that while 39% of respondents said they had either a somewhat or very unfavorable view of Sanders, 49% that they had a very or somewhat favorable view, giving him a net favorability rating of 10 points. Biden had a net favorability rating of 8 points due to 50% of respondents having a favorable view and another 42% having an unfavorable view of the president. The survey measured favorability for more than a dozen key political figures. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, another outspoken stimulus proponent, had a slightly positive net favorability of 1 point. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, who blocked a vote for $2,000 stimulus checks, had by far the worst rating in the poll. Net favorability for McConnell was negative 48 points, with 65% viewing the Republican leader unfavorably and only 17% taking a favorable view. The poll also showed a negative 11-point net favorability rating for Senator Joe Manchin. I do not think they polled about some of the freshman senators. But if they did, I wonder what the favorability rating would be for a man like Senator Tommy Tuberville from Alabama, who today gave his first speech on the floor of the Senate, and wouldn't you know it, Senator. They still like to call him Coach around here. He gave his first speech on the floor of the Senate today, and of course, he used his time to bemoan the fact that there is no prayer in school.
Moral values again. That starts with putting God and prayer back in our schools. Our kids need structure, and they need to learn right from wrong. I've watched everything that has happened in education over the past few decades. From a front row seat on my sideline as a coach, it's embarrassing. As a person who's choosing...
He coached football, and he sucked at that.
I now have the opportunity to say something as a United States Senator.
I don't know sports, but I'm pretty sure he quit twice.
For this country's future. If we don't recognize that, we're going to lose our country as we know it.
Where our country gone?
The United States is 13th in the world for reading, 18th for science, and we're 36th in the world for math. That's unacceptable. This country was built...
He is from Alabama, which ranks near the bottom in every single one of those categories, and he has the fucking gall to get up and try to lecture other people about education.
Built on hard work. It was built on competition, whether it's business or individual. Education and athletics teaches you how to compete, how to grit, determination, and to work together as a team. Now you can learn everything you want from books, but if you don't learn to persevere and compete, it's hard to succeed. Some people in this country think that you are owed something simply because you live in the United States of America. This country doesn't owe you a job.
Wait, what? Whoa. Is he bemoaning books? What? Nowadays, you can learn everything from books. That's what he said, right? I didn't mishear that.
Whether it's business or individual, education and athletics teaches you how to compete, how to grit, determination, and to work together as a team. Now you can learn everything you want from books, but if you don't learn to persevere and compete, it's hard to succeed. Some people in this country think that you are owed something simply because you live in the United States of America. This country doesn't owe you a job.
Sir. I have certain unalienable rights. granted to me. I am owed certain things via my citizenship. I pay taxes as a citizen, and I'm owed something for those taxes. Sir, you are a dumb fuck. Right-wingers, morons. Nowadays, you can learn everything from books.
Or a paycheck. This country only owes you one thing, and that's an opportunity. But what's great about this country is that it also gives you the opportunity to fail. And that might sound a little funny coming from a football coach that spent his entire career trying to win. But here in this country, if you fail,
that quit multiple times,
get off your feet and try to succeed again and again. You don't get that opportunity in most countries on God's green earth. That being said, I appreciate the opportunity to serve.
This is Senator Tommy Tuberville from Alabama.
And I look forward to getting down to work and returning education to one of our top priorities.
The freshman senator from Alabama. This was his first speech on the floor. And he used it to say that we need prayer and the Bible in school. Yeah, the former football coach. Phew, that was painful. He made it. He actually said, like, nowadays you can learn anything from books. I'm dumbfounded by it. CDC director warns now is not the time to lift COVID restrictions.
Let's get started.
That's
with
kind
the
of an
current state
ominous
of the
warning.
pandemic. I remain deeply concerned about a potential shift in the trajectory of the pandemic. The latest CDC data continue to suggest that recent declines in cases have leveled off at a...
I'm not sure he can read either. There were multiple instances in the election because, like, I live in Alabama. That's my senator I just played a video of. There were multiple instances that made it seem like that motherfucker can't read. I'm with you. But what do we expect? Right-wingers are fucking morons. Okay. Go reset. CDC director is warning. That's my moron snake. You can get the right-wingers are morons shirt from the FREAKIN shop. If you sub on Twitch, you can get the moron snake as an emote. I love my new emotes. The CDC director is warning that now is not the time to lift restrictions.
Let's get started with the current state of the pandemic. I remain deeply concerned about a potential shift in the trajectory of the pandemic. The latest CDC data continue to suggest that recent declines in cases have leveled off at a very high number. The most recent 7-day average of cases, approximately 67,200, represents an increase of a little over 2% compared to the prior 7 days. Similarly, the most recent 7-day average of deaths has also increased more than 2% from the previous 7 days to nearly 2,000 deaths per day. These data are
I mean, we were at 5,000 deaths a day not that long ago, so like 2,000 deaths a day seems
cases a day.
optimistic.
With these new statistics, I am really worried about reports that more states are rolling back the exact public health measures we have recommended to protect people from COVID-19. I understand the temptation to do this. 70,000 cases a day seems good compared to where we were just a few months ago. But we cannot be resigned to 70,000 cases a day, 2,000 daily deaths. Please hear me clearly. At this level of cases with variants spreading, we stand to completely lose the hard-earned ground we have gained.
That's the issue. And that's what's worrying is I was looking at the chart compared to last April or last March when we were spiking. And, like, at the rate that we're going, at the trajectory that we're on, like, it's not going to be as bad as it was last spring. But we have those variants. The 3-4 different mutations of the virus that are now circulating. Holy shit. We could see a spike exactly like last spring, and that's what's worrying. Especially if, like, everybody start, it's getting warmer, we can start, like, going outside and everything and get really cavalier about it, as she's saying about rolling back the restrictions.
These variants are a very real threat to our people and our progress. Now is not the time to relax the critical safeguards that we know can stop the spread of COVID-19 in our communities, not when we are so close. We have the ability to stop a potential fourth surge of cases in this country.
Has the African strain been detected in the U.S. yet? I'm not sure on that one.
Mask and taking the other public health prevention actions that we know work. Ultimately, vaccination is what will bring us out of this pandemic. To get there, we need to vaccinate many more people.
And we're up to close to 2 million vaccinations a day. And I think they're projecting to try to get up to like 3 million vaccinations within the next couple of weeks. So, encouraging numbers, worrying trends. We're not out of the woods yet on the COVID. I'm just sitting back. I can't wait to go to concerts again. I'm sitting back letting everybody else get their vaccinations. I don't have to go outside. Vaccinated folk, they have instances of people getting it, but like, once you've been vaccinated, you're not going to get it as bad, right? Fuck the anti-vaxxers. The people of color have a legitimate concern. Totally understandable. So, it's up to as many of us to get it as we can to try to reach herd immunity, and everybody to do our part. I mean, poor people in general, but people of color in specific in this country definitely have reason to be worried of any government program. Especially given the actions of the asshole Democrat we're getting ready to talk about. Why Andrew Cuomo has not resigned yet is beyond me. Maybe because he's a jerk and he's never going to do anything that he doesn't feel is in his best interest. New video has surfaced. Creepy ass video. We're getting ready to watch right now.
Same way too.
Will you
eat the whole sandwich?
I will eat the whole sandwich.
Yeah?
Okay. Who made sausage? I can eat the whole sandwich.
No excuses. You know everyone, you know the county.
It's not as easy to eat this in front of all these cameras as you think.
Well, that's right. That's your good.
I've never liked this motherfucker.
Well, there is a course where you get elected.
Emma Vigeland calls him the Trump of the Democrats, and that is an apt description. So she's a news reporter. His daughter looks so uncomfortable. God damn. When you're wanting to make a joke and using it as a phallic symbol, that's who holds a sandwich that high. Yikes and gross indeed. And like, this isn't as bad as the sexual assault allegations that are against him. It is past time for him to resign. And I can't believe they pressured Al Franken to resign after that stupid fucking picture. And we've gone on this long with Andrew Cuomo, and they aren't pressuring him to resign? Yeah, that's a fucking double standard. However, not everyone thought the governor was out of line, arguing the clip didn't cut the mustard as evidence of harassment. It's not really evidence of harassment, but it is definitely a pattern of creepy Cuomo behavior. So, this video came one day after former Cuomo staffer Charlotte Bennett alleged to the New York Times that the governor made a series of inappropriate remarks that left her convinced he wanted to sleep with her. That claim, in turn, came less than a week after another former staffer, Lindsey Boland, expanded on accusations she first revealed in December 2020, alleging that Cuomo kissed her on the lips without warning. Meanwhile, Cuomo has agreed to let State Attorney General Letitia James appoint an outside investigator into the growing scandal. So, Cuomo on Sunday tried to explain away allegations of sexual harassment as jokes that were misinterpreted as unwanted flirtation. His office caved to State Attorney General's request to appoint an investigator to probe the claims. He wanted to oversee the investigation into himself. Is it on the scale? Are you asking him if this? I mean, like, can you really put things on a scale? I think you mean John Edwards, the Democratic presidential candidate in 2008. What John Edwards, like, this is professional misconduct. The sexual harassment claims aren't, like, sexual harassment is one thing. Like, John Edwards had an affair with his dying wife. So I don't, that's down low behavior, but that's not professional misconduct. Anthony Weiner, God, he was like texting like a 16 or 17-year-old girl, so he's a total perv. But once again, like, Cuomo, like, killed people. Cuomo is worse. Cuomo is worse than both Weiner and Edwards. I believe if we're gonna scale this shit, because it, like, the thing I'm upset with Cuomo about, fucking sexual assault's fucking dastardly, but, like, the motherfucker covered up the numbers. He bungled the COVID response that resulted in people in nursing homes dying, and then tried to cover up the numbers because the motherfucker wanted to run for president. He wrote a goddamn book. I think the book has already been published. It's out. It's available. To try to capitalize on his little press conference shit, because that's all it was. He gave an air of confidence at a time when people needed to hear somebody that knew what they were talking about. That's all fucking Cuomo did. He was never a fucking competent leader to begin with. I don't think there was anything else in there. I just think he cheated on his wife when she was dying of cancer. And I think he had some campaign finance violations, maybe. Something to that effect. But yeah. Cuomo is just, and the fact that people like lionized this motherfucker last year, that makes me sick. And that he wrote a book and jerked himself off about all this. Fuck Andrew Cuomo. And I don't think the mayor of New York City has any love loss with Andrew Cuomo. This is Mayor de Blasio earlier today addressing the scandal.
Of course, in 2015, when you spoke to Governor Cuomo having being a person who has a sort of a vendetta against people, do you believe this crisis that he's facing now, the lowest point perhaps in his political career, is a terminus or a culmination of sorts for his behavior toward
it's him getting his comeuppance.
It's a good question, Emily. Look, again, I don't know why he has done these things he's done over the years, but he has.
Because he's an asshole.
In 2015, because to me, it had become unacceptable, and it was important to bring it out in the open.
Yang is running for mayor, isn't he? He's running against I don't know if de Blasio is termed out or if he's running again.
And I think as people see...
I'm not exactly up on what's going on, but Yang is wanting to run for mayor of New York City. I think.
What these two women went through is absolutely unacceptable. What Ron Kim went through, having his life, having his career threatened. I mean, again, just look at this pattern of abuse.
Now, Kim was the one that Cuomo called up and cussed out. And other people brought up yeah, that sounds exactly like Andrew Cuomo.
It's unacceptable. So I think a lot of truth is coming out. I think more truth will come out.
Cuomo should resign. Cuomo should resign. And he needs to resign immediately. If he has not resigned by the end of this week, there is something fucking wrong with this country. He should have already resigned. And it just shows you can be a scumbag, you can be a fucking moron, and a gigantic piece of shit, no matter if there's an R or a D behind your name. You're more likely to be a gigantic scumbag if there's an R by your name. Just odds. So follow up from a story last week. Lady Gaga's dog walker was shot. Her dogs were kidnapped. Dog-napped. Ryan Fisher took to Instagram on Monday morning to share 2 photos of himself lying in the hospital recovering from the attack last week. He recounted the terrifying incident and praised one of Lady Gaga's dogs, Miss Asia, who avoided capture, for staying by his side after he was shot. The other 2 dogs who were stolen, Gustav and Koji, were returned to the pop star by a mystery woman on Friday. A manhunt for the 2 assailants is still underway. The photo of Ryan is expected to make a full recovery. Looking a hell of a lot better in that picture. Says he was punched to the ground and shot in the chest by the dog nappers while walking the pops on West Hollywood's Sierra Bonita Avenue at about 10 p.m. In the caption of his first Instagram photo, which showed him hooked up to a breathing tube, Fisher described how Miss Asia ran over to him after evading the thieves who fled with the other pooches. A picture of Lady Gaga with the dogs. Gaga has called him a forever hero. Fisher described how he feared he wouldn't survive the attack, writing, "I cradled Asia as best I could. Thanked her for all the incredible adventures we've been on together. Apologized that I couldn't defend her brothers. And then resolved that I would still try to save them and myself." Oh my God. Hopeful that my calmish and forceful pleas for the urgency of my care, as well as the focused descriptions of the dogs, would be enough to help me get enough police and media attention to find the boys. So we have some fucking video.
No. Is here to help. VA offers mental.
After an ad here. Yes, third way there's a whole nother layer of politics that goes into New York with Cuomo and where his father was governor of New York. Cruz wasn't charged with animal cruelty because I followed up on that story with the dog because I was very pissed off that he left his dog at his house alone. He has a security person at his house, and the security person actually volunteered to watch the dog. This is very close to the puppy. The puppy who's named Snowflake, ironically. But yeah, it's still shitty. I wouldn't leave my fucking dog if I was gonna go to Cancun. What an asshole! And I didn't save it, but AOC dunked on Ted Cruz yesterday after CPAC. Said apparently Texas was just a layover on his way to Orlando from Cancun, so he could put some bottled water in the back of somebody's car. AOC is fire on Twitter. All right, so this is footage of the dog walker for Lady Gaga. Holy shit, they just jumped out and came up on him. Who doesn't take their fucking family pet with them on any vacation? Apparently not Lady Gaga when she was in Italy, but she's got a... God damn. That was horrible. Yeah, his wife getting called out on text. That was great. And then the fucking school's all upset that they went to Cancun. They're like, they better quarantine when they come back. Did you know Ted Cruz wasn't going to? Because the rules don't apply to a fucking Republican. God damn. So sad, but I'm glad that Ryan Fisher is going to make a recovery. The dogs were found. They're so cute. Look at those motherfuckers. Oh. Now, crazy video out of Alabama. Circulating on Facebook. Abbott was on Fox every fucking night. I don't know. I didn't hear about Cornyn. Ted Cruz was the one that got caught, though. I mean, the Senate was on recess. I understand, apparently Cruz's vacation wasn't planned, but the Senate was on recess, so several of them probably had vacations planned. All right, so this happened just outside of Birmingham. I think it happened over the weekend or on Friday. We'll get the full story after we watch the video here. Content warning. This is the sheriff's department. They've got somebody down on the ground. Never let the cops into your house.
Get down on your back, Bradley. Get down on your stomach.
Sir, do you have a warrant? Come back when you have a warrant.
Joke's on you. Joke's on you.
God damn. This definitely doesn't look necessary. That fat ass cop. Looks like he's proud of himself. What the hell? Help him! The fuck? This happened in Empire on Friday. Deputies were responding to a 911 call for help with a mentally ill man, according to a source that has firsthand knowledge of the shooting. The Walker County Sheriff's Office said the deputy was responding to a domestic violence call. A video of the shooting is being shared on Facebook. The video shows a man, presumably a Walker County deputy, standing over another man on the floor of the kitchen. The video is disturbing and difficult to watch. It also contains words that are offensive. The words aren't important, goddammit! A family member that did not want to be named for now said the deputy used excessive force on someone who was mentally ill. Clearly. Absolutely, the qualified immunity. I hope that is something Democrats tackle. I know, I understand they've got some very pressing issues to take up. Qualified immunity is like this summer. It would be a great bill to introduce on the anniversary of George Floyd. Because Democrats really need to work on their messaging and getting their shit through in the media and controlling the narrative. So, doing a bill to end qualified immunity on the 1-year anniversary of George Floyd that gives them time to do the COVID relief, pass a $15 minimum wage, get all of Biden's cabinet positions appointed, and then qualified immunity is the next fucking thing they need to work on. It is procedure for the Alabama law enforcement agency to investigate a shooting that involves a member of law enforcement. So, of course, they're going to find that they did nothing wrong. This video, I have not watched yet, but apparently we're going to see a 14-year-old boy fall off a roof. A contractor has been cited as a result. Oh, so they didn't actually show the fall.
Entirely preventable.
Occupational Safety and Health Administration Cleveland Area Director Howard Ebert says at the time of the fall, the workers were not using required fall protection equipment like a guardrail or harness and lanyard. OSHA
they're definitely not tied off on anything.
On roofing and construction, and owner Melvin Schmucker later putting on safety gear that had been in their trailer. And the agency says about 2 weeks later, inspectors spotted company employees working on another roof without required equipment.
Frustrating.
And it's snowing and shit.
To allow their workers to be exposed to fall hazards without the proper fall protection equipment.
Friday, OSHA announced multiple.
I've been up on a roof like that. It's slick as fuck when you get some ice and snow.
Against the company. Its owner declined to comment when reached by Fox 8 News.
All it takes is one simple slip.
Why do they have a 14-year-old boy working on a roof anyway?
To their death.
Ebert says following regulations and using safety equipment can save lives and help prevent more dangerous falls like this.
This is 100% preventable, and employers need to do the right thing and protect their employees.
This happened in Berea, Ohio. Police released video of a 14-year-old boy falling off a roof while doing construction. The boy was critically injured in the accident, which happened in December. OSHA has proposed penalties of $73,000 to Double M Roofing and Construction and issued citations for 2 willful, 3 serious, and 1 other than serious violation of OSHA's safety standards. And they were still caught installing, and this is like if you've ever watched the Dave Rubin talking to Joe Rogan about regulations clip on YouTube. This is exactly like fucking libertarians always want to act like, well, companies are going to do the right thing because they're going to want to compete. If they have to compete, they're not going to cut any corners. No, they're all going to cut corners every fucking time. That's why there has to be regulation, you stupid fucks. All right, we got a homophobic Karen.
Are you a queer? What are you looking up your asshole? No.
Oh. I'm trying to get his full screen here.
Are you a queer? What are you looking up your asshole? No. Cause you won't like you looking up your asshole. There ain't no these fucking bitches that sit beside you doing shit about it. Are you okay?
Ma'am, I believe, you're a woman that's wanted to try some anal, and you've got some repression or some shit. By the way, there's a G spot up your ass. Tickle it, you'll feel a lot better.
You're not okay. Cause if you sit there and this boy walking here with no fucking money, you're not a good goddamn
We didn't even come in here with him.
Well, then goddamn back the fuck up, bitch.
Are you gonna go drive your car right now?
You wanna talk? Do you wanna do something?
I don't know, maybe we should get the
You
car.
wanna do this? Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's get him.
Let's do it. Get it.
She should, honestly. She's gonna go hurt somebody if you drive your car.
Come on, let's do it.
We should do it.
Let's do it.
Is she drunk?
Whatever you
do it. Go ahead. You should do it.
What the fuck are you? Are you even dressed?
What? How much more could I wear to be?
How do you like you were in a trailer park? Like you grew up in a.
I look like I was in a trailer park. Oh God, you would know.
They're all like, wait a minute. What the hell? A concerned teen recording the incident asked, are you going to drive your car right now? I wish we could get some follow-up. But this is just commenting on the video they watched. We don't have a police report or anything to follow up. So we got a pastor's daughter now, who's apparently caught. Pastor Christian White's daughter-in-law, Ashley Marie Ayers, is tired of Black History Month.
Where everybody is saying, oh my God, Breonna Taylor, oh my God, that guy with the big nose, I don't remember his name. But it's just like stuff that is like going on in the world that's important, but it shouldn't be highlighted on Sunday mornings here. Like that is, after all the riots and stuff, we had to do that pan.
Wait a minute, on Sunday morning, she's even got the Cross Mountain Church logo. Things like social justice shouldn't be highlighted in the Christian church on a Sunday morning. Is that what you're saying, ma'am? Have you ever read the fucking Bible? I assume it's just the name of some church somewhere. Like the guys, the pastor. This is the daughter-in-law of Pastor Christian White. Cross Mountain Church in San Antonio, Texas. Let's let her finish her little rant.
Where we brought black families up and had them talk, and like had a whole Sunday dedicated to black people. The 21st is going to be dedicated to Black History Month, which is fine, but it's like, it's a lot. And I don't even post that much about baptism. Why am I going to post that much about black
Churches being a scam are the reason churches should pay taxes.
I'm not like racist. I know I'm not racist.
I want to just inform everybody. Nobody that is not racist has ever uttered the words, "I'm not racist." Never happened, ever. If you're not racist, you do not have to inform people that you aren't racist. The only people that have to inform people of the fact that they aren't racist are racist people. People that want to say racist shit. Because her in particular, this woman, right?
On our staff that have milked being black and Black Lives Matter and
milked
black people on stage, and we need to acknowledge black people, and we need Martin Luther King Day off because we're black, and if you get Columbus Day off, then like just all of that, it's like, I'm not racist, but when you take advantage of being black because you're the only black staff member or the first black staff member, it just drives me insane because our church is 99% white.
Like she's talking about somebody specific. She is posting on social media about somebody in her fucking church. The Bible, which says not to judge people. And she's like, just because you're the first black employee at this church. Oh my God. And like, how dumb is she? Surely like she would know that the person would find, you're posting on social media with the church's fucking logo over your head. What is wrong with you? You fucking idiot. Holy shit. You didn't think that the dude would fucking find out that you were talking shit about him, saying racist ass shit about him? Talking about how the first black guy to work in your fucking church is like playing the race card, like trying to play to your feelings, wanting Martin Luther King Jr. Day off. Apparently they've actually had a conversation about Columbus Day, and like the point just completely went over her fucking head. Holy shit.
So if I post 3 times this week about Black History Month, which is more than I post about anything, people are going to be so annoyed. Like, nobody freaking cares.
Oh my God. Since the video went up, the heirs have been doing damage control. Last week, they apologized on behalf of their family, though to be fair, there's no reason to think they deserve blame for what she said. Unless you count their son's taste in women. But recording them and sharing them to people. The lack of self-awareness. Indeed. Is this the statement? Do we have another video?
To stand before you.
Here we go.
As your pastors and as your friends, and share our hearts with you.
So it's their daughter-in-law.
Awkward transitions. But let's just be okay with that today. I want to read the statement that we wrote up.
So this is the statement they released.
Today,
They're crying, trying to make themselves out to be victims.
As your pastors and as your friends, heartbroken.
He's so
We're
sad.
heartbroken for a number of reasons.
You got
first reason that we
got
are
caught up in a
heartbroken
scandal.
is there have been some things said this week through video from one of our family members that have hurt so many people. People that we know and love, people that we work with.
I would hope she's no longer in charge.
And for the words that were said and for the hurt that it has caused. In the most sincere way that we can. We say we're sorry.
What is he crying over?
We're truly sorry. The words that were said do not represent me. They definitely do not.
I mean, in his defense, it wasn't him. It was their daughter-in-law. Like, she's not even blood relative, so I feel a little sorry for them. But still, she felt comfortable enough for her to mouth those words under the banner of your church. So that speaks volumes about the way that you guys talk amongst yourselves. So we're in agreement that it's fake crying. Yeah. If they are indeed real tears, it is because they are upset at the way this reflects on them. And not because of any pain they caused anyone else.
Represent this incredible lady standing next to me.
I bet she's asked to speak to the manager a few
The
times.
amazing church that this is. The second reason why we're heartbroken is because we have been reminded this week that we have not done enough surrounding the topics of race and unity, love, and acceptance.
Do stick with me. We've got an awesome video
This church should have a loud voice.
of pigs and a pug in a bathtub.
In fact, I believe that the church should have the loudest voice on these topics.
I'm as white as they fucking come. Don't trust white people.
That should lead the way in our words. It's the church that should lead the way in restoration.
I don't trust the church with anything, sir.
That Jesus set an example of love and hope. And our role as the local church is to continue that example. And we believe with everything inside of us that Jesus Christ is the hope of the world. Jesus Christ, through the local church, mobilized, the local church loving, the local church serving, the local church caring, investing, speaking, and living the messages, the truths, the promises, the teachings of Scripture is the hope.
Does this seem like a motherfucker that's sorry?
And Kelly and I, we're committed to being a part of that hope.
This has been one of the most up their own ass statements I've ever heard in my life.
On the topics of race and injustice, and in the other topics our culture and our society are struggling with. 1 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 12 says, May the Lord make your love increase and overflow. We are committed to that. To more love, to more unity, to more respect for everyone. Not only are we committed to being a part of the hope, but we're also committed to this congregation and to this community. We are committed to lead as God has commanded. Love one another. Period.
That's a perfect place. God is not a lie. I am God himself. Probably. He's absolutely for a punitive punishment when it comes to everybody else, but not for him. Now, I don't watch the Golden Globes. I'm not really an award show kind of guy. But according to the Daily Beast here, this was the worst Golden Globes ever, and it completely botched its diversity scandal. I just saw the headline. Let's dive in, shall we? Not news that the Golden Globes as an award show are a bit of a joke, but my, has that joke gone stale? Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, I don't like. If I was gonna watch it, I'd be okay with them. Like, that's cool. The joke resurfaces every few years, sometimes from the ceremony stage itself. Host Ricky Gervais dinged them as worthless. Tina Fey and Amy Poehler hosted Sunday night's ceremony in unprecedented times. Because of the pandemic, each emceed from a different coast with a few dozen celebrity presenters and only masked first responders in the audience. And because of controversy surrounding the legitimacy and inclusivity of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, which votes on the awards, they were hosting in the face of serious backlash and even a boycott. Many celebrities ahead of Sunday night shared a Time's Up Globes graphic with the mission statement, "A cosmetic fix isn't enough," following the revelation that the group has not a single black member in its ranks of 87. Wow. Ahead of Sunday's telecast, a pre-show hosted by NBC, but This Is Us's Susan, I don't know who that is, The Weakest Link's Jane Lynch, teased that the HFPA would be making a statement about its non-inclusive membership during the telecast. They plugged it as a reason to tune in. Where a sheepish tone or atonement would be expected, the telecast seemed instead to choose opportunism. And more pathetically, it even failed at that. As became clear when the promised statement finally came. It took only about 3 minutes for Faye to make the first joke about the controversy in her opening monologue. Still, it was the HFPA that did what it had done best for decades, reveal its own punchline. Apparently, not understanding the laugh was at its own expense. That was the case this year when it nominated Netflix's stale croissant of a TV series, Emily in Paris. I haven't even heard of that show. Last week, the Los Angeles Times published a damning investigation into the organization's long history of scandal and unscrupulousness. Love that word. Unscrupulousness. I didn't even get it right. Unscrupulousness, which escalated the backlash. This is not a revolutionary characterization for an awards organization whose reliably bizarre slate of nominees is universally chalked up to its notorious movie star obsession. Okay, so I still don't really know what the controversy is, other than, having the exclusionary. Other than the organization, I really get that controversy of them not having any people of color. They're 87 member. But as for the award show itself, I assume it came off pretty flat. But there was a moment that apparently received a lot of attention. Ooh, we have a call. Caller, you're on the Troll Patrol. What's going on?
We have a call. Hi, I actually just wanted to make a comment on what you were talking about earlier.
Caller, you're on the Troll Patrol. What's going on?
We have a call.
Please turn down your stream.
Comment on what you were talking about earlier.
Caller, you're on the
Troll Patrol. What's
going on?
Please turn down your stream.
Oh, that might actually be my fault, to be honest with you. Give me 1 second.
That might actually be my fault, to be honest with you.
Hold on. I'm gonna have to hang up on it. That might caller, if you would like to call back, please call back. I fixed it. The echo will be gone. That was totally my fault. My apologies. But I had to hang up on you to fix it. 917-830-4359. Or we can always hop in the Discord. I'll give the caller 1 second to give us a ring back. I'm sorry to have to hang up on you. I really am. I was interested to know what your question was. Aw, nuts. I don't blame him, though. I'd get mad at me, too, for hanging up on me. That was totally my fault. Anyway, back to Sacha Baron Cohen. Sacha Baron Cohen, who, I assume he picked up an award last night at the Golden Globes. I'm not exactly sure. But he gave this speech.
Without my co-star, a fresh new talent who came from nowhere and turned out to be a comedy genius. I'm talking, of course, about Rudy Giuliani. I mean, who could get more laughs out of one unzipping? Incredible. Our movie was just the beginning for him. Rudy went on to star in a string of comedy films, hits like Four Seasons Landscaping, Hair Dye Another Day, and the courtroom drama, A Very Public Fart. But seriously, the revelation, the sensation was Maria Bakalova. She's incredible.
She was fantastic.
Impossible without my co-star, a fresh new talent who came from nowhere. And
taking shots at Rudy Giuliani. What I assume was an acceptance speech. So last week, a viral video making the rounds on the internet. A court appearance by a surgeon who happened to be on the job at the time. We got the judge here on the left.
Okay. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Green?
Yes.
Hi. Are you available for trial? It kind of looks like you're in an operating room right now.
I am, sir. I'm in the operating room. Yes, I'm available for trial. Go right ahead.
Okay, let me just
go right ahead.
Proceedings right now, they are being live streamed on YouTube. That's because traffic trials are required by law to be open to the public. Since we're limiting physical access to the courtroom right now, that's how we're making them open to the public, okay?
Okay.
If I could get you to raise your right hand for me, please. Officer Monroe was previously sworn in, so she won't be taking the oath right now, but I'll swear you in. Do you solemnly state, under penalty of perjury, that the testimony
Fine, I'm a professional.
Truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
I don't know how I feel about this. Like, I saw a lot of people under, like, in the comments. It was talking about how, like surgeons, like, listen to music and play, like, air guitar and shit as they're performing surgery.
So, can everybody hear me?
Okay, that dude wasn't even the judge. He was, like, the bailiff.
Elizabeth Ramirez.
Or the clerk.
Yes.
Oh, people. What I'm looking at is Scott Douglas Green's case number 20 TRO 95795. I believe Officer Monroe is present on this case as well. So
it's like a traffic ticket.
I'm seeing a defendant that's in the middle of an operating room, appearing to be actively engaged in providing services to a patient. Is that correct, Mr. Green?
Yes, sir.
Or should I say Dr. Green, but I don't know that.
Okay, that's okay.
I do not feel comfortable for the welfare of a patient if you're in the process of operating that I would put on a trial, notwithstanding the fact that the officer's here today.
I have another surgeon right here who's doing the surgery with me, so I can stand here and allow them to do the surgery also.
Not at all. I don't think so. I don't think that's appropriate. I think I'm going to come up with a different date when you're not actively.
Capitalism comes first. Got to get those patients in and out. I assume it's some sort of elective surgery and he's a private practice, right? Because, right, like, if he was working for a hospital or some shit, there's no way this is going on. Like, he's the boss, right? He's in his own practice. I think Citizen Kane was the biggest snub. You know, I tried to watch Citizen Kane last year at Christmas. I fell asleep. It was I was taking bong rips. I just had Christmas dinner. It wasn't that it was a bad movie. I've always wanted to watch it. But like, he's the boss, right? He's in his own practice. Or there's no way he would get away with that. If he was in a hospital setting, that's not going to happen. I love Orson Welles. Yeah, the judge like shut that shit down.
I apologize, Your Honor, to the court. Sometimes surgery doesn't always go as
The court,
as
you know,
efficiently as we
it
hope.
happens. We want to keep people healthy. We want to keep them alive. That's important. March 4th, 3 o'clock. How about that? Officer Monroe and Dr. or Mr. Green. March 4th.
Day of the week is that?
I don't know.
Are they notoriously arrogant? I don't know that.
Yes, sir. I just need a new subpoena for the date.
The court will do that. The court
Thank
will
you, Your Honor.
But like he knew the date. He
welfare.
scheduled something for the date to begin with.
Okay.
What
so
does
March
reassigning
4th.
the date
What time?
do?
3 o'clock. It'll be March 4th. Is Mr. Green or Dr.
Yes, sir.
Green, 3 o'clock p.m. Department 87, March 4th. Is that going to fit your calendar, we hope?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay.
The double.
They're free to go, right? I can just send them away.
And he handed the phone off to like one of his assistants, didn't he?
Dr. Green? Dr. Green?
Hold on.
So the officer's free to go, but he's got to go to the breakout room to finish the process.
Okay.
Okay, so you don't, finish the process. I'll give you the breakout room button here. Talk to my court attendant, sir.
Does he lose his license over this? A Northern California plastic surgeon, okay, see, I kind of figured it was something like that, who showed up for his traffic trial Thursday afternoon via video teleconference, surprised a Sacramento judge by going live from his operating room. The Medical Board of California, in a statement Friday, said it would look into the incident, saying it expects physicians to follow the standard of care when treating their patients. So what do you guys think? Does he lose his medical license? Bribe inbound? You don't think it's in California? This is Sacramento. I don't like you guys seem more surprised about it than I was. I just like they rescheduled it for this week though, March the 4th. That's like this Thursday. I want to know if he does it again. Has he got the balls? All right, so we're gonna bring this show in for a landing, and we're gonna end it. Medical boards are pretty strict. Yeah, the MyPillow guy got censored. They cut in a couple of times on Right Side Broadcasting. All right, so we're gonna bring this show in for a landing, and we're gonna finish it off with a video someone sent me of pigs and a pug taking a bath. Oh. Mute that song there. Are you wanting what the fucking pigs and a pug taking a bath? What the hell? That's cute as shit. Look, they got their little bath caps on. I couldn't believe it. You come on. That's goddamn adorable. That's the kind of wholesome content we're all. Look at that pug. Look at him standing on. Look at him standing on the pig's back. I do not know what you're talking about with the horse trainer thing. There's a lot of good streamers on right now to choose from. This was a hard choice. I'm gonna send you guys over to Proudly Radical if you were watching on Twitch. That'll do it for me tonight. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's alright to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin Freakin. We will see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol live. Yes, please post that in Discord.